It's Wednesday. We like to talk about your money, my money, everybody's money. So for today, we're going to talk about the deadline for filing your taxes. This year, April 18th. It's also my son's birthday. That's Monday. If you're not keeping track, right there. See, we put a little red circle around it. Listen, if you haven't done your taxes yet, now's not the time to panic. Now is the time to just get your taxes done. Joining us is Stefanie O'Connell Rodriguez from Real Simple and the Money Confidential podcast. Welcome to the show, Stefanie.
Well, thank you for having me.
I mean, you know, if anyone has to talk about taxes, which no one wants to, I'm glad you're going to steer us in the right direction. So can we at least talk about incentives for getting your taxes done? The standard deduction jumped this year.
Oh, yeah, big jumps in the standard deduction this year. And that's good news. If you're just trying to get your taxes done, you want to keep it simple. You don't want to go through that whole process of itemizing everything. You just want to claim that standard deduction. That went up to $12,550 for single filers, $25,100 for joint filers, or $18,800 for heads of households. But talking about incentives, I mean, getting a refund if you're anticipating one, that can be a pretty sweet incentive. If you want to expedite that process, one thing you can do is file your taxes electronically and select direct deposit to receive your refund. The IRS has a backlog. They have labor shortages like the rest of the workforce. So if you can help them by filing electronically, that actually might help you in the long run too.
So when we're down to the wire, for those who are trying to file but encountering problems, what do you recommend for them?
Yeah, so I know when we hear IRS, we're like, it's scary, right? Yes. But actually, we should come to think of the IRS as also a resource. IRS.gov is full of tools, information, answers to frequently asked questions. And you might find things like programs like IRS Free File, which, if you qualify, will help guide you through the process of filing your return for free. So go to irs.gov, see what you're eligible for, and if you need extra help, give them a call. They have contact information right there on the website.
So I just want to go through this again because, you know, some folks get frustrated and they say, I've waited this long, my taxes are too complicated, I'm just not going to do it. But what are some of the problems that can actually arise if people don't file their taxes?
Yeah, so generally speaking, the longer you wait to file your tax return and the later you are doing it, especially if you owe taxes, the more serious the consequences become. So you'll start probably hearing from the IRS, which is the kind of snail mail you do not want to get. You probably will get charged penalties, interest on whatever taxes you owe that you haven't paid yet. And the IRS can even start to take your money. They can garnish your wages. They could put a lien against your property. These are pretty serious things. So it's always better to be proactive. Even if you can't afford to make the payment, it's better to be proactive and let the IRS know than ignore it.
Right, because I was just going to say, I remember a couple of years ago, I got slapped over the head with a bill, and I was like, I'm dead. You know what? Children, it was nice knowing you. Hopefully you will find a loving and caring mother, because I can't pay this IRS bill. But I found out that I could negotiate with the IRS. So tell our viewers a little bit about what they can do if they can't afford to pay their taxes in a lump sum.
Yeah, so it's all about being proactive. Like I said, irs.gov will usher you towards resources, contact information. The IRS really just wants to get their money, and it's in their best interest to come up with a payment plan that's going to work for you. So get on the phone. Tell them what's going on, and they'll structure something that works with your financial situation. And you can, as you said, negotiate. If you can't afford what they're saying you owe on the timeline that they're saying you owe it, they will work with you to come up with something that works for both of you.
I can tell you, I'm living, breathing proof. It can be done. It was done. I'm still surviving. I'm here. Any last minute tips for folks, Stefanie?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that's also going to help expedite your process of getting a refund if you're anticipating it is accuracy. So really remember to report all of your income. You know, if you have a salary job and you got a W-2, that makes it pretty straightforward. But there are also might be things like side hustles you might have where you have to report income that comes from other kinds of work, 1099s. Maybe you have interest income from a bank account. Maybe you were selling cryptocurrency last year and you saw some gains. That's income that you need to report. So remember to report all of those sources of income and be as accurate as possible. Also take into account any major life changes. Did you go through through a marriage or a divorce? Did you have an inheritance? Did you have children? Child tax credit had some big changes this year. Those kind of big implications for your taxes. And finally, just keep an eye out for changes to the tax code. The laws change all the time. That's why we started this Taxes in 10 series on the Money Confidential podcast, because it's always changing every year. And sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. So it's really best to go to the irs.gov website and see, hey, what's new in 2022?
Fantastic. Stefanie, chock full of information. Did you do your taxes already?
Oh, I did, yeah, because I got a refund, right? That's an incentive.
Right, exactly. My accountant was like, this is how much you owe the federal, this is how much you owe the state. I nearly died. He said, look at it this way. That means you're gainfully employed and you earned cash. And I was like, you know what, Drew? Still doesn't help.
You know, I think every time I go through a run in Central Park, I think this is what my tax dollars pay for,
Right,
and
exactly.
I appreciate it.
Exactly. Such a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks so much, Stefanie.
Thank you.